Tonight we report on how a jury convicted a 62-year-old woman for child molestation and how the cold train is doing in Quincy. What's happening in sports, Bob?
The Moses Lake Chiefs girls soccer team looks to maintain supremacy in the Columbia Basin Big Nine Conference, and the Mariners were blown out by the Rangers. Let's take a glance at our Weather Center forecast.
And here in the weather department, I'm expecting a pretty nice couple of days of Labor Day weekends. On everyone's mind, a little cool touch of fall coming your way, all the details coming up.
I'm Alan Troop, and we have all this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
A 62-year-old Moses Lake woman is facing at least 5 years in prison after molesting 2 grandchildren. A Grant County jury convicted Cynthia Mitchell of child molestation in the first degree and assault. The jury found Mitchell abused a position of trust to commit the crimes. This factor allows prosecutors to recommend up to 10 years in prison. She also faces the possibility of an indeterminate sentence, meaning she would finish her minimum term in prison, and a Department of Corrections board would determine whether she could be released. Mitchell molested the girls on several occasions when the victims were visiting her Moses Lake home. She would threaten suicide if the girls didn't want to visit, and accused one of the girls of not loving her anymore when the victim asked her to stop. The cold train is facing challenges with the problems the railroad is facing. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
The Port of Quincy commissioners are looking for a new rail transport tenant to ship Columbia Basin-grown produce across the country. Cold Train Produce Express Rail boxcars now sit stacked and idle at the once bustling Port of Quincy Intermodal Terminal. Cold Train ended its refrigerated rail service on August 7th. Cold Train executives cited Burlington Northern Santa Fe Rail's change in scheduling for guaranteed delivery from 3 to 6 days. Cold Train representatives said the change amounted to millions of dollars in losses. Commissioners President Kurt Morris said Burlington Northern Santa Fe will have to approve any rail service tenant the port recruits to fill the Cold Train void.
The railroad is actually being real receptive to bringing in another operator and to restarting the service. We're trying to figure out between the three of us, how do we do that and who do we do that with?
I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
Moses Lake residents are going to pay more if they are late paying their utility bills. The City Council approved a series of increases for late payments and water shutoff fees. The fee increases included change from $19 to $30 was approved for delinquent water, sewer, stormwater, or ambulance bills. An increase from $30 to $80 was approved for turning water on or off after normal business hours. The service fee increase from $8 to $15 was approved for each additional account on a single bill. And the council approved a fee change from an $8 to $15 for changing the name on an account. Finance Director Robert Taylor said in a previous meeting, most of the fees haven't changed for 30 years and the city's costs have risen. For example, the city pays $56 to turn water on or off after hours, but was only charging $30. Now they will charge $80. The council approved the change unanimously without any discussion. Grant County Health District officials are reminding parents to make sure their children's immunizations are up to date. Health District officials advise the beginning of school is a good time to check children's immunization records. The district stated that when children are not up to date on all their shots, they are at higher risk for getting sick and can spread disease to others in their classroom and community. Students can easily spread illnesses to one another because of poor hand washing and uncovered coughs. The Health District recommends checking immunization records and making arrangements to have the child receive any immunizations that are needed. If you are looking for something fun to do this weekend, try Warden. Reporter Cameron Probert fills us in.
Warden is celebrating its community on Labor Day. Warden's Community Day celebration starts on Monday with a pancake breakfast at Volunteer Park, located at the corner of East 4th Street and South Maple Street. Grant County Fire District 4 is selling the pancakes between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. The events continue with an 11 a.m. parade. Entries will travel down Main Street to Ash Avenue. Organizer Kayla Kite said the parade features several returning entries, along with antique trucks and cars, a Ritzville float, and at least one political candidate. When the parade finishes, people can go to Volunteer Park for more activities. Kite said a 3-on-3 basketball tournament and a volleyball tournament are scheduled, along with vendors and music provided by Ecrit Entertainment. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Cameron Probert reporting.
Now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be back right after this.